Hello, and welcome to our baseball podcast. My name is Adrian Paredes, and I'm joined by David Hooten and our special guest, John Bonetta. And today we're going to be talking about a few different topics. By the way, I hope you like that theme song, John. I kind of picked it out just for your style of music. Little Zeppelin-like sounding stuff about baseball and drafts. So yeah. And today we're going to be discussing the EJMA Mock Draft, which is on March 7th, coming up very soon. So we're all getting prepared for it. I'm glad you guys are joining me on this. I know you guys love to do draft every year. And even though you guys don't have any dogs in the horses, you're in the first round, in the race, in the first round. So, Dave, what did you get for your first rounder? What did you get for it?
Oh, I got Xander Bogaerts in a multiplayer deal. So I wish I had a first rounder, but certainly he filled a good need for my team. What did you get for yours, John?
Yeah.
You know what? It was like a year ago. I'm trying to think right now. Talk about put me on the spot. I'm trying to think what I got, but it actually paid off for the EJMA Cleveland Guardians because fortunately for me, the path was paved and came out with a World Series win.
Yes, congratulations on your World Series win. I believe it's your second.
Congratulations.
Your first?
No, second one, but first in for an awful long time.
Second.
Gotcha. And before we get started, last time I gave a shout out to our new members, Jacob and Jeremy. Today, I want to give a shout out to Mike Rohan. He's our new commissioner. Commissioner's such a critical position. Why our league's been so successful. Doug and Mike did a great job recently. And commissioner, it's a lot of work, oftentimes a thankless job, but it's really an important position for the health of our league, and appreciate Mike for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not a well-paying job.
It is not a well-paying job at all. Well, have you guys ever been commissioner of the league? I don't think you guys have, right?
No.
I don't have much of a desire to do it. I know you guys, probably don't either.
Definitely thankless, but he does a lot, and Mike's going to do great.
Yeah. Well, one of the topics I wanted to get into today was about ratings for Dynasty League Baseball. And this is kind of a hot button topic because some people put a lot of interest and investment in clutches, for example, clutch rating or a jam rating, things like that. So let me ask you, first I'll start with you, Dave. What is your most overrated symbol?
Probably the most overrated symbol is the clutch. I'd rather have a jam than a clutch if I was given a choice. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. I have, it's funny because in my lineup in the EJMA, I have 4 clutches in my starting lineup. And I wasn't all that jazzed for it, honestly. I'm just like, okay, cool. But what is the most underrated rating, John? What do you think?
I have to go with the hit and run.
Ooh.
And it's my favorite of favorite ratings, especially if you can parlay that up with like the right ballpark. So a hit and run in Fenway or Wrigley is ridiculously valuable.
And
you
could have a guy hit almost 400 if
well, I think
it would be.
Yeah, before the change was made in the rule, before you could do it as many times during the roll. Now it's just the one time. But Juan Pierre, I think it was in the 2018, 2017 year, he had a card where he was like 350 versus righties. And then you layer on the hit and run.
Layer on the hit and run too, yeah. And then he had the speed once he got on base too.
Yeah.
What did he hit that year? Do you remember?
You know what? I'm going to look at it while we're chatting here. It was a healthy average, and I know there were several. He far overproduced his card because it was almost a platoonish card. So I only used it against the strong side, but then coupled with that A1B.
Yeah. I do.
Would you guys prefer an on or an off if you had one or the other?
Off for sure.
I think to me, I'd rather have the on. But then again, I've played in these kind of home run parks for most of my EJMA life between Colorado and now Baltimore. So I kind of look at the ons, but it's kind of negated if a guy doesn't have many deeps. It doesn't really matter.
That's the piece with me is there's some cards that have an on and it's completely useless. But conversely, Wrigley, if you're in, let's say, the old Alameda Coliseum, that is a huge ballpark or huge foul territory. I mean, that on or off rating can be incredibly valuable.
True.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I look forward to the jams the most, and I think we've all done some work into what we think the rating is going to be, and we'll get into that another time. I don't want to get too deep into our magic formulas we have, but I know that for me, I really look for the jams because, especially for late inning relievers, and I think it's imperative to build a bullpen with multiple jam relievers. I think you have to. And how many did you have last year in your World Series winning team, John?
I had, let's see, I had Sale, and Wheeler as starters, and then I only think I had three. I might have had four. I had Hader, and I think I had three or four. So it wasn't as many. Personally, I think they're all good ratings. I think the clutch is a bit overrated.
I do too.
I would be a little bit more just hesitant on giving the Holy Grail to the overall jam. I'm a because there are cards out there that we know that in order to even be effective, they have to be in a jam situation because they're not a great card. And I'm trying to think back of historically, there's some in this set that are
like
jams.
Ryan Helsley for me. He's a jam, but he's basically unusable.
Well, let me ask you guys a hot button topic here too. What do you guys think about non-closers getting jams? Would you be in favor of that more, or do you guys think you don't like it when it happens?
I think it's fine. I would personally feel that Mike could do that. He could raise his overall, threshold, if you will, to become a jam. And that would, if he opened it up to the non-closers, if you will.
I think with the game,
and there's some sorry. I was going to say sometimes the closer is exceptional, and you could even find those guys making the All-Star team at times.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the game changing, with starters going lower innings, we got to look at the changes in the game itself too in Dynasty League Baseball, because starters will go 5-6 innings, and we hope that they get through 5, and then we're looking at relievers. So with even Major League Baseball is doing that too. I think we've had a reduction in 200 inning pitch starters over the years. I think we had 3 this last year. I think we had 8 the year before. It's just been descending downwards over every year. I looked at that trend over, I think, the last 10, and it's held up. So with the game changing, I think we need to change with it, or Dynasty Baseball needs to change with that.
I think Mike, I think Slinsky has a number that if the starter doesn't go 150 innings, will not, no matter what, qualify for a jam. Pretty sure that's the number.
You and I talked about that this offseason. We discussed it.
Wheeler has 149.2 this coming year.
Yeah. Yes.
And he has by far one of the top 2 or 3 jam qualifications, but he doesn't have one.
But is it that mark? Because I had Ryan Nelson, who had a very good card with jam numbers. I think he was like 153 or something like that. And he didn't get one. And I was a little surprised. I was thinking that 150 would be the threshold. So it's probably that 150, 160 threshold, because I didn't see anyone under 150, of course, ever getting one as a starter. And they're not counting the strike season or short seasons. But yeah, I never saw that. So, man, I love this topic. I could talk about this all podcast, honestly, because it's one of my favorite topics to discuss. And there's a lot of varying opinions. Yeah, so if you have an opinion on it, you're watching this or listening to it, put a comment down. We want to hear your opinions. And even if you disagree with us, you think we're crazy, or you love the clutch, just give us an opinion on it. We want to hear it. So baseball is a talking sport, and we want to talk. Not just us. We'll bring in guests like we have John right this week, this podcast. And I want to have different guests joining us. I want to have recurring guests. May drag you back in here, John, at some point, But for now, let's cut over to the topic everybody's waiting for in our league that's watching this podcast. Let's go to the EJMA Mock Draft. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread it up. So we each have our pick to make. And I have the Word document open, and you guys can't see it. Sorry about that. I guess I probably should share my screen, but it doesn't really matter. The video will see it, and it'll look all nice and beautiful in the video. So John will pick first, and then David, you'll pick second, and then I'll pick third, and we'll just keep rotating through all 24. So
works out nicely. We each get 8.
I know, it works out great, doesn't it? We had to research really hard for our 8, and then here we go. So, of course, if you're watching this and you have some opinions on it, and put it in the comments, send us messages. I love comments in the actual YouTube video, so just throw it in there too. So here we go. Let's go ahead and start. So number 1 is Houston. And John, that's your pick. What do you think?
Awesome. Well, I think this is a fairly straightforward number one. Given if I was in this pick situation, this is what I would do, and that's why I think this would be done. But I think also we took a minute to look at team strengths and really take the pick as if we were in that position. That's kind of the thought, right?
Yeah.
So for 2 years in a row, there's going to be, if this mock was to move forward, 2 years in a row, a Pittsburgh Pirate arm as the first pick, and that would be Mr. Bubba Chandler.
Bubba Chandler. And there's a few Pittsburgh pitchers that may go in the first round here. So, I mean, that's kind of good. I should have taken Pittsburgh when I joined back. I mean, instead of keep staying with Baltimore, because, man, those guys have really been producing it. So
Could be another Pittsburgh.
Speaking of Pittsburgh production, I think next year, John and I were just talking about this, that next year's draft, I mean, Connor Griffin should be the first overall.
Yes.
I mean, Pittsburgh should have yet another number one overall.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And I was, honestly, I was a little surprised that Jeremy didn't take Pittsburgh because of, that farm system. But Philly's, I think he likes the Philly franchise. And
Philly. They have some impact minor leaguers as well. So.
I got to say that when I came back in, I almost went back to Colorado, but just because I love the park and I love the mind tricks it plays on everybody with the just craziness and, unforgiving nature of the course field. Yeah. Okay. Second pick, Dave. What do you think?
All right. Well,
it's Baltimore. That's me.
Yeah, I'm picking for Adrian here. And, there's a lot of good options here. Looking at his team needs, he's a contender this year. He could use a shortstop. Colson Montgomery's a perfect fit. 23-year-old impact player, a lefty shortstop, which is awesome. But he has great defense. He's a B+ 90 at short. He also has a huge home run window versus righties, no limitation. This is an impact player for his team this year.
Okay, Colson Montgomery is who we got for that pick. For me, let's see if that happens. And honestly, I think this is a top tier of three players. I think we agree with that one. And the first, the two of them are mentioned here of Bubba and Colson. And I think the third one goes third to St. Louis here. And I think that goes to Cam Schlittler, arm from the Yankees. That kid, I saw his highlights, and he regularly touches 99, 100 miles an hour this fastball, and he looks really tough. And I think he's going to get a chance to start this year, assuming he has no injuries. But that's pretty much any pitcher ever, isn't it? What do you guys think of Schlitty?
I mean, I think it's really close between him and Bubba Chandler. I think maybe Bubba has a tad higher ceiling, but I think Butler he's a great player here. He's got to play in the AL East, which hurts him. But I don't think you could lose with either one of those starters.
Bubba's one of the top prospects, of course, coming into the season, and he has that really high pedigree. And so it's an interesting debate between those three. I think after the top three, there's a little bit of a drop off. There's still some good players in there, of course, but to me, those three stand out as the top three. And I think anyone who's looked in the draft probably agrees with me, probably cursing our names around. I was like, oh, man, come on. Like Oakland players is saying, oh, come on. Tracy's probably thinking, I want one of those guys. Speaking of Tracy.
I think the hardest part, the thing that you got to look at, there's obviously some teams that are set up for a successful season, really set up, and have a roster that's loaded for probably a deep playoff run. And there's other rosters that probably are not and are looking more forward facing to 27 or what have you. And I do feel that those three cards, Bubba doesn't help you as much, but he's still usable. Mm-hmm. Montgomery, crazy useful, very good card. But Schlittler is really solid card, great upside. So all three of those cards are dual purpose a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Tracy in Oakland, you are next, John, to pick for Oakland.
All right. Well, looking at Tracy's roster, I feel he has an offense that's loaded for bear for many years coming. So pretty easy for me to make a pick, and it's got to be an arm, in my opinion. And the best arm I feel that's out there is Imai. So Chutsuya Imai, import player, very nicely set up for Tracy here on this one. There's been some imports, Japanese, Asian import players that have been really, really good. And there's some that have been kind of off the chart in terms of not so helpful, but this one looks to be all that of a helpful, productive player.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think he's a good looking arm, and his metrics in the Japan leagues were really good and really solid. I think he translates.
Does he? Does he translate Japanese or does he need a translator?
Both.
It's funny because guys like Ichiro and Shohei, they speak English, but they always use the translators to speak for them everything. So,
Yeah.
All right, number 5, we go to Tampa Bay, and that is you, David. What do you think
All right,
that
so
Tampa goes
for Jacob here, and
Mhm.
Jacob is in a big rebuild. He's in a really tough division, 5 good teams, and then Jacob's team, and Jacob's doing a great job with his rebuild, but he's looking at it. He knows this could be a multi-year process, and he's looking for the best player available. I could see him taking Sal Stewart, great young bat. He also plays in a good ballpark in Cincinnati. I think that'd be a solid pick for Jacob right there.
I like Sal Stewart. I wonder how much power he's going to hit for, but his batting average certainly is there when he plays. Of course, he came up as a first and third baseman. I really think he sticks at first, based on what I've seen.
You could
Yeah.
see him probably hitting 25 home runs this year, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
think.
Yeah,
20,
small park,
Yeah.
really loaded lineup, and we're not really
Yeah.
digging into the MLB teams as much, but that team
Yeah.
is going to be sneaky good.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, you like Cincy, huh? We'll see how that goes. Okay, next we go to the Angels, and that's my pick. And this was a tough one. And I was looking around at what I think Art could do. Uh, he has some holes that he needs to fill. I think he wants to get guys that can help him hit. I think he wants people that can help his batting average. He wants people that can help his lineup. Uh, we all need pitching, but there's not a lot of hitting in this draft that's really upper tier. I think he sees an opportunity to get a really good usable hitting card here. I think he goes with Dalen Lyle. Maybe that's a little early for him. I don't know. But man, the guy hit so well. His card is really good. And I could see him jumping right into a lineup and hitting 300. So
His card's very good.
Yeah.
Has it almost blisters right hand pitching, so
yeah,
pretty solid pick there.
it's a very good, high in the order guy that's in your lineup. Even on a contender, he's a starter that you want to get in your team to get on base. Absolutely.
Yeah, he has a little speed as well. So Yep.
He's a bit deranged, so he's got a little bit of a handicap there in the outfield. But I think he will get better. But I saw him.
yeah, he's supposed to be. Yeah, he's supposed to be a good athlete. So
Yeah.
he might end up being a B or C, maybe Floyd.
Yeah. Okay, that takes us to number 7 with the Dodgers, and that is you, John. What do you think Steve
All
will
right.
do?
Well, I used a little bit of like past history and knowledge of Mr. Steve Bay.
So he's going to wait to
how-
take his pick to the last second. That's what you're saying?
No. His prior thinking, and really, I think this is a pick that has a ton of upside, and one that fits Steve's draft style, and one that fits his team pretty well. I do think Steve drafts a bit for the future, but Munetaka Murakami is absolutely the pick, is what I feel should be made here.
Can you spell that for me? I'm just kidding.
MM.
He pronounced it correctly. At least.
You did. You did it better than I could.
I didn't hear her first name though.
Munetaka Murakami.
There you go.
Right?
All right, that's not too bad.
The guy's a big power hitter, and he's very focused on hitting for the White Sox and doing that. I think he's a guy that can hit 30, I think, coming in pretty easily. And, it can fluctuate up or down. We really don't know, but I think 30 is a realistic number for home runs for him. How he's defensively, who knows? But he's a guy who could he can hit.
Yeah, he's got a pathway to a lot of playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Has a good pedigree from Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is number 8. That'll be for the Mets with Tony. David, you are up.
Yeah, looking at Tony's roster, he has great pitching. I mean, Paul Skeens certainly helps. He has a lot of pitching on his team. Is a lot of pitching war, but not a lot of hitting war this year for him. So I could really see him taking a bat. He could use an outfielder. I thought a great fit, especially since there's not much hitting in this draft, is to take Isaac Collins. Isaac Collins has a clutch. He has good defense. He's 28 years old. I think that would be a good bat in his lineup.
Yeah, and a clutch, overrated.
Yeah,
overrated clutch rating. I think he's a good pick. He's one of those guys that I think if I had a later top 10 pick, I would really think about too, because I think I could, everyone could use that bat too in their lineups. And he's going to Kansas City, I think, and he should get an opportunity to play there.
Yeah, and really, he's a good card, really good card, clutch, in a fairly soft hitter loaded draft. Hitter side draft, I should say.
Yeah.
Yes. Hitting is very sparse. In fact, there's not much more hitting left in the first round, I think. I think we're taking all the big bats off the board early here. I mean, with Montgomery, we got Stewart, Lyle, Murakami, Collins, a lot of bats going here. So with that in mind, Kansas City's up. And Brian, he loves pitching. He likes good pitching. I think he sees these guys that go off the board that he may want for hitting wise, and it makes him think about, do I want to take like Okamoto? Do I want to take someone else who, Marcy, maybe, I don't know. But I think he sees Braxton Ashcraft there. And I like his upside. And I think he is a really good pick here for Brian.
I agree. I think that's a sleeper pick in the draft. I think he's been hobbled by injuries, but healthy. He's a great young pitcher, and he could help you a little bit this year. And I think he's a bright future.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Brian has a much better team than he talks about. I mean, if you hear him talk about, he has the worst team in baseball, but he has a really good core, and I see him turning that around. He's way too good of a manager not to turn that around. All right, we go to number 10, and that is with Boston. And John, you are up.
For this pick, I have to. I'm going to sit in Rich's seat. Okay, I'm going to put on my red-colored Boston Red Sox glasses.
Okay.
I'm going to look through these red glasses, and I'm going to see this player that I envision as like the all-coming of everything. And I'm going to pick Carlos Narvaez.
Oh,
with my red Boston glasses. And if this happens, if Rich gets this guy, I am sure of it. He's going to soil his pants. I'm sure of it, because he's probably super excited for Carlos Narvaez.
I love his defense. Holy smokes. -3, and he hits for power. He's, whew.
Yeah, I mean, young catcher like him, they're very rare to find, especially in the draft, and to go all the way down to pick number 10 to get him, that would be a great pick for Rich, for sure.
I mean,
and a Boston homer. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I admit, early on in the offseason, Narvaez is one of those guys that I targeted. I was looking at thinking, man, that defense is so good, it would stop the run. And the only reason I wouldn't consider it is because I have Hunter Goodman at catcher. So that was my deterrent. And we looked at the teams, and when I was making my picks, I was thinking, gosh, Narvaez doesn't fit here. Narvaez isn't fit here. And man, Boston is a really good landing spot for him. He's the first big faller in the draft, I think, there. Wow. Okay, now let's move to number 11. That would be the Dodgers. David, you are back.
Yes, Steve gets to pick again. Lucky guy. I think he's a rebuilding team. He's looking for upside players. He already got a chance to take Murakami earlier, which is a great pick. Definitely not shy about taking Japanese players. I mean, he was fortunate to get Sasaki last year. But I'm going to go with another Japanese player. I think he's going to take the best hitter on the board. He's going to take Kazuma Okamoto. Okamoto, he's considered to be a very well-rounded player, good bat, some power, good defense. I mean, it seems like a great fit.
I think so too. Okamoto is pretty solid coming from Japan, and looking at his numbers over there, he was, one of their top hitters, and he is a solid player, especially get some playing time, I believe, at third base.
Yeah, and he might outperform Murakami year one, but he is, I think, 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah.
So,
all right, that takes us next to Philly and Jeremy, and his a new owner, and this is his first draft pick. So I think he looks at that team, and it's no secret that he needs pitching. He said as much in our in our Slack channels that I need pitching. I don't really care where it comes from. I dealt off one of your non-favorites, David, of Kohanowitz to him. And you hit me last year on that pick, and I was wrong. You were absolutely right about that one. But I took Kohanowitz, and it did not go well. So I traded him to Jeremy. And with that, I think he takes a good pitching card, and who's in the draft has a lot of starts. So I think he goes with Jacob Lopez here. And I know he's lefty, but he's still got a very good card when you look up and down that thing. I think he's...
Lots of strikeouts.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts. I think he's the best starter on the board right now. And I think it's a really good pick for him here.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a funky delivery that is deceptive, lefty, for sure, solid pick.
Yeah. Okay, so it brings us to number 13. And John, you're picking for Brian again at Kansas City.
I think this one for me, given what's out there, given some of the posts that we've seen Brian make, just the logical pick would be Jacob Marcy here.
I like
Great talent.
I really like his talent.
Yeah.
I
should have a ton of upside.
Man, if that guy didn't have limitations, I mean, I would consider him taking number 2. A strong consideration for taking number 2.
He came out, I think, just really hot.
The only reason I think he's still on the board is that limitation. I think otherwise he would have been going a little higher.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I know that Mike and Dan and the guys look at when they build these cards is where do you draw that line for limitations? And you got a lot of criteria to think about. And I think that he deserved a limitation for sure because he would have been really overpowered without limitations. Same with Colson. I mean, Colson would have been much less valued if he had limitations on right against lefties.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting how it played out. Because Colson is not a sure thing to repeat every year. He's a 240, 250 hitter, but he has major power and no limitations. So it makes him more valuable in that role. I think that's a good pick. And we go to number 14. We go to Dave. You're picking for Minnesota here with our new commissioner picking.
Okay. Mike Rohan, he has one of the best teams in the East. He's going for it. He's looking for an impact player. There's only one jam in the draft, and that is Daniel Palencia. Get a young closer. It'll help him a lot this year. I think that's a great pick for him.
Yeah. It is probably the best jam closer in the draft. I think the only jam closer in the draft.
The only jam, but yeah.
It's the only jam. Yep.
Yeah. Good card. He has a job. And, he's a guy that I looked at a couple of years ago in another league, SNBL. And I thought he had good potential. I thought his minor league metrics looked great. And it doesn't surprise me to see him doing well. I'd like to see him do more. Let's see how he does it. Good pick here from Minnie. Let's go number 15. And I'm going to pick for Houston this time. I think he still wants to get more pitching. And I think he goes with another Pittsburgh teammate. I think he goes to Mike Burrows here. I think Mike Burrows is a good young arm who fills some need for Glenn going forward and building his pitching staff. I think he gets Burrows and he gets Chandler and he's like, wow, I got my future, studs here.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. A usable card, should be a solid guy for years to come.
Yeah. Man, we've got some interesting names off the board here. There's a lot of hitters gone. There's still some out there. And there's still some pitching out there, but I think, we're starting to get into the weeds now here. So number 16, we have San Francisco. And John, you're picking for them.
I think it's Chase Madroth. And doing this, he's a solid everyday card. Upside, has a bit of upside, has some versatility. Mm-hmm. Should fit fairly well into San Fran's roster and what he's looking to do.
Yeah. He's a good guy with minor league pedigree. He takes a lot of walks. He's another guy that I was thinking about too, middle of the season last year. Like I liked his prospect status. If I was hoping I was going to pick him the top of the draft. He kind of fell down a little bit more over the year because he doesn't have really a defined position. I think he finds one during the season. And he is too good of a talent to really not. Okay, number 17, we go to the Cubs. And David, your pick for them.
Yeah, when I looked over Steve's roster, I think Steve could use some pitching. I know he tried to address that in the offseason. He made a great move. He got Logan Webb, so that's an impact pitcher. I think he looks to add more starting pitching. It's a team need, and it's not the most exciting name out there, but Eric Lauer has a great card. It good splits. He's an on-off, probably the best starting pitcher card left on the board. So I think that's a good fit here and for the Cubs.
Man, I was secretly hoping he would slip to me at the top of the second, but yeah, that's a good pick there. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you give the multiplier and everything, he's an everyday guy,
Mhm.
and I think that the case could be said. He has one of the best, if not best, starter cards in the entire draft. He's bounced around, but he's got a really, really, really good card.
Yeah, very, very underrated card. I think he could go earlier. He could go, up to 13 or actually 15. I think at Houston, with Burrows. I think Burrows has a better outlook, but I mean Lauer's card is really good, no doubt. So here we go, number 18, Detroit, and that is me. And I've looked over his roster, and I really think that he's going to go with a hitter, outfielder, most likely. And one of the outfielders I like the best in the draft, he's one of these quiet guys. Again, I hate mentioning him because he's another guy I was thinking about in the top of the second, and that's Heriberto Hernandez as an outfielder. He's a guy who I think can hit power. He's
He's
really
got some pop.
yeah. He's not a big name with Miami, but I mean he's pretty impressive. And I'm actually kind of surprised he's here this late. But it's not a very heavy hitter draft. I'm glad to see him here picking because that's a guy I like. All right,
Yeah.
number 19, we go to Arizona, and that is you, John.
Yeah, I think on this scenario, it kind of ties in with our early opening comments. This card has an on and an off, and it's Brad Keller. Really, really good reliever card. Super usable. Arizona's got a really solid team, and this would add to a deep bullpen.
He's pitching for Team USA, I think, isn't he? In World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and that card is really good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a really good card. It's hard to pass that up, especially for a contending team.
Right.
It plugs right into that back of the bullpen and is a multi-use guy. That's a really good pick there. So here we go, number 20. David, you're picking for St. Louis.
Right, Ron. I think Ron is he has a good looking roster. He's maybe a year away from being a really top contender. He likes upside players. He likes big bats. So I'm going to take a guy who has a huge bat, maybe some questions, but could put up big numbers. Augustin Ramirez, the catcher for Miami, hit over 20 homers, great power. He has a +4 arm that that might improve. If it doesn't, you have a very good first baseman DH who's get probably at 30 plus homers.
Yeah, I think he's underrated because of his atrocious defense at catcher. I think if you're looking for a catcher, you don't look at Augustin Ramirez.
No.
No.
But how many catchers hit like that? Not many.
I know, and I don't think Boston's looking at Augustin Ramirez at 10, thinking, "Hey, I'm going to take him instead of Narvaez." No.
Yeah, I think he'll be probably one of the worst defensive cards I've ever seen. Catcher defensive cards.
Can't play DH this year. Maybe he'll be a 0 next year. Who knows?
You never know. Some of these guys bounce back quite a bit.
I mean, you'd just be as good putting Bo Bichette at catcher or something like that and have the same results as Augustin Ramirez back there.
Yeah.
It's pretty awful. Okay, number 21. We're going to go to Milwaukee, and I'm going to pick for Milwaukee. And he's going to, man, that guy's team is loaded, and he's in my division. There's no way I can beat that guy. But, I think if I looked at his roster, I didn't see many deficits. I didn't see many big problems. I think if I'm him, though, I look for ringer cards. I look for guys who can come in that may have limitations and really hit well. And that's where I think, you could go reliever here. I think maybe he's hoping Brad Keller falls to him. Say, man, that guy, I have to have that guy in the bullpen, but I think his bullpen's great already. I think he goes Jake Mangum. He's a guy who I think can steal some bases. He can play some defense. He does a lot of good things for your team, and I think that he's happy he gets him there.
Yeah, it's a solid pick right there.
So number 22, we have Houston. That's you, John.
With this pick, I think there's some names that are not necessarily as usable this year, but have really big names, have a ton of pedigree, have a lot of upside, and have been names of on the prospect list for quite a while. Glenn loves to do this. Pick high upside dudes. This is a guy that has a ton of that, and that's Brady House. So fits really well with that mindset.
I thought you were going to say Chase Dollander because he's still out there and he kind of fits that description.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah, the House is a former first-round pick, though. He has a starting job. He's 23. I think that's a solid pick right there.
I think so, too. I think Brady House is a really sleeper kind of pick that goes there. Okay, that takes us to number 23 and Oakland. David, what do you think Tracy's going to do?
Well, I mean, Tracy has such a great core of young bats. John took a eye for him earlier, so he got an upside pitcher. I think he's going to continue that trend. You stole my thunder a little bit with the previous pick, but I'm going to take Chase Dollander here. I think it's the best upside arm. Yes, he has to play in Colorado. We all know what that means, but they haven't had a guy like him before where he's upper 90s. He was supposed to be the first pick overall in the draft at one point, but in the major league draft. But high upside arm, great fastball, great slider. I think it's a good pick right there. I'd gamble on him.
If it's for you, John, who would you take? Would you take Brady House or Chase Dollander?
I'd go House. Just, there's a not a robust history of arms in Colorado. Succeeding.
There's not. Pedro Estacio maybe, and that's about it.
I think. But how many big time arms have they had? Like guys that threw upper 90s. I mean, maybe John Gray when he was younger.
Armando Reynoso.
A lot of guys like that.
Armando Reynoso had a couple good years, and then who was the guy that was on Baltimore that had one good year in Colorado? Anyway, he had like a really solid card, but there is not a lot of long guys.
Oh, you're right. There's not a lot of good pedigree.
We're drawing straws here.
Yeah. God, he's such a talent.
Yep.
Okay, last pick of the draft. Here we go. Last pick of the first round, I should say. And that goes to the Dodgers, and I'm picking for him. And, it's getting a little thinner. There's still some talent out there, but now we're looking at high upside pitching. I think, especially for these last three picks for Houston, Oakland, and Dodgers, I think they're looking for pitching. And there's no more Japanese players for Steve to take here. So he can't take another one, I don't think. There's a Korean guy that's still out there.
He could, yeah.
But I don't think he'd take any more foreign players this one. I think he takes Nick Abel to close out the first round. He's a guy that was traded over to the Twins and has some upside.
Upside, a lot of room to really pitch. They have obviously a big injury at the top of their rotation, the Twins. Mm-hmm. So it's going to have a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. It's kind of hard luck for the Twins, man. I kind of feel for them there. Well, here we go. We did the first round. And, man, I know you all watching are probably thinking they got my guy or, man, they're crazy. Again, let us know in the comments. You don't have to give up who you're going to pick, but tell us that we're crazy. Tell us that, I don't know, Jacob Lopez is a terrible pick at 12 or something. Or Augustin Ramirez, that guy needs to go higher. Nobody's going to draft, a catcher that low, but whatever. Here, give us your comments. And we put some work into this, and I think we have a really good mock. We did a lot of research on this. Thank you guys for all the work you guys put in and research you guys did. I appreciate that.
It's a lot of fun.
I love the mock draft.
Thanks for putting it together, Adrian.
All right. Well, next time we'll come back. We're going to do the draft in a week and a couple days. And after that, we're going to do a post-draft analysis. And we're going to do a little bit of ratings and reviews. And we're going to talk about how things went. Look forward to see you guys next time. So if you like this, please like, subscribe, give us comments. We appreciate that. All right. Thank you all.
A lot of fun. Thanks a lot.
See you guys next time.